All right, that'll do. It says we're live. So I'm gonna have a quick workout today. Hitting the bags. Maybe I'll do some other stuff too. Maybe I'll break up my pull-up bar and do some pull-ups. I'm not sure yet. Just thinking about it. I was thinking today, instead of wearing my gloves, I'm just gonna wrap my hands and be done with it and just skip the glove. Of course, on a bag like this in the Wave Masters, you don't actually have to have gloves or hand wraps or anything, but I still like to have them. For me, I think it's better because for one, if I'm going barehanded, I'm sweating, it gets slippery, and sometimes, like especially if you're throwing a hook or something, I feel like I'm just slipping. All right. Feels comfortable. All right, do the other one. I've noticed too, there's more than one way that people wrap their hands, right? So I'm trying a new way that I wasn't doing before. Because I originally learned how to wrap my hands by watching a boxer do it. But then I watched a different boxer do it recently, and it's a little bit different than the way that I was doing it. And so I'm trying out a different way. But didn't feel quite as natural on my other hand. Nope. Oh, maybe that's why. Oh, whatever. Folding it up. Okay. Okay, let's see. I messed up there. Just going to be different. There we go. That feels better. So, hey, how's it going, guys? I'm going to get a workout in on this bag. Once I get myself wrapped up good, right? Said I'm doing this a slightly different way than I normally wrap my hands, so it's taking me a little longer. I was trying a new way. Well, new for me. Feels awkward trying to change to a different way to hand wrap when you're used to doing it another way, but the end result I think might be a little bit better than what I was doing before. Maybe. I can still tell it's not quite right, but it's okay. It'll do the trick. So main reason I'm using hand wraps anyway, I usually put on a pair of light gloves, but I wanted to try the hand wraps today. Yeah, that looks funny. But even though on this bag, you can go bare hands if you want, but if you get all sweaty and stuff, I found especially when you're throwing hooks, because you're sweaty, it's like you feel like you're just slipping, like you just almost like poop, you just slip right off of it. And I like to be able to go into it and kind of stay there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm about to start working out. Let's see, got some of y'all here. How y'all doing? Y'all doing all right? Cool. So I'm just gonna do like a fitness kickboxing style workout on the bag. I have I have follow along workouts in the video section. If you guys ever want to do your own workout in a structured follow along format, that's on my channel on the video section. So keep that in mind. And I'm not even warmed up yet. And part of why I didn't want to wear gloves is because it always turns off my fitness watch. And I want to have this track my workout to try to give me a good guess on how many calories I burned during this. So I got the camera angle just right and make sure y'all can see me here. I think y'all can see plenty. I think that'll work. Yeah, if I have any issues, I'll just readjust the camera. All right. Ooh, I got warm up a little bit. You know, I guess really though, the best way to warm up sometimes is just by hitting the bag. Okay, I'm gonna turn this camera some because as that bag's getting closer to the wall, it makes it harder for you guys to see. All right, there's somebody that commented with, oh, he said 540. Now, first, I thought you just typed in a bunch of letters, and that's all. It said do a 540. Maybe in a little bit I'll do like a 360 or something, but those 540s, I'm not quite a 540 person. Even though, yes, I did Taekwondo, but not that kind of Taekwondo. What we did where I went was a little bit more practical. I'm still warming up here too, though. Keep that in mind. This just feels good to do right here because of just the quick concession and because it flows. Doing a jab, elbow, and coming back from the elbow, throwing a back fist punch. I'm going jab, elbow, back fist punch. I don't think you could pull off that, but it's fun to do on the bag. It would work in a movie, right? But I think, you know, on a real opponent, they would definitely have their guard up here, so I don't think any of the extra stuff would work, you know? So I don't think that would work on an opponent, but it's fun to do in the bag. Oh, I'm starting to feel a little warm. About time. Roll it back some. Trying to look to see if I'm in the frame. I'm kind of out of the frame a little way now. I'm better with my left foot on the step up side kicks. How's it going, folks? Yeah, I know. All right. Starting to breathe a little heavy. That's good. Trying to make sure I get a good calorie burn in here. So I want it fast paced. I want to burn energy. I want to breathe heavy. Well, that's fine. Kind of like before, right? This one, but now with the lead leg kick on the end. So I'm gonna throw a few of those. So I'm gonna go jab, elbow, back fist punch, lead leg kick. Once again, if you try this in sparring, likely would not work because after here all the guard's gonna be up. I think it'd be unlikely to hit it with those. But you could try it, you might, you know. But throwing the kick in there at the body, that one might work because they're guarding their head. If all these were at their head, their body may be open, but their leg definitely should be open. This is just fun to throw. So over the past year or so, I've been working to get better at keeping my hands up when I throw. Because, you know, with an old school background, even old school Taekwondo, even there, a lot of people with the old school traditional Taekwondos and karates have a bad habit of doing this when they throw the punch, of dropping and coming back. And so over the past year, I've been working on trying to get my hands back up. You know, and if you go back and look at my earliest kickboxing videos on this channel, you'll see a huge difference between then and today, because it used to be so drastic. It was like whoop, whoop, you know. And one of the things that I feel like has helped me the most is to get myself to touch up here above the eyebrows so that I know my hands are up. And so when I think about it and I realize I'm dropping my hands, I try to think about touching just with the tips of my fingertips up here above the eyebrow so that I know my hands back. Let me come check on your chat. How you guys doing? Cool. Hey, anybody new here, hit subscribe for me. I'm trying to grow this channel up. It would be nice if I could get monetized sometime within the next year. That'd be pretty awesome. I don't think I would ever get much from this, but you never know. So, even enough to buy, you know, a cup of coffee a day would be pretty cool. Even though that wouldn't be much, but that'd still be pretty cool. But I'll do this anyway. It doesn't really matter. It's not something I'm going to stop doing. I'll be 70 doing this. Maybe some of you will be around here way in the future, huh? Maybe some of you will be watching me when I'm an old man coming out here with a cane. Then I drop the cane. Wham! We'll see, right? You know, we'll see in like 30 years. Yeah, I'm gonna do some kicks. Get that cardio up. Trying to make sure that I'm not cutting myself out of the frame. If I back this up a little bit more, it'll show a little bit more of the area. Maybe I won't cut myself out of the frame. I'm gonna just throw some round kicks on each side to get my cardio up. I felt sloppy on the end there. Let's see. That was about 40 kicks. 40 kicks in those few seconds. I used to do on this channel, I used to do a live 1,000 kick Friday where I'd do 1,000 kicks on the bag live every Friday. I could get it done inside of an hour. I think I can do more than that. I think if anybody's interested, I might bring that back, but this time, instead of 1,000 kicks, just see how many can I get done in the time frame and see if I can do more the next week than I did the week before. I think that'd be a fun way to go about it. So maybe it would start at 1,000, maybe a little bit more, and see how many more can I build up. Now, if I'm trying to do that and I'm just doing it for quantity, it's probably gonna be like the kicks that I just threw, round kicks, because if I'm wanting to do as many kicks as possible in an hour, give or take, I would need to do whatever kick is fastest. And that's just that quick popping round kick, right? That's faster than, you know, you can get more reps faster with that one than you can with any other kick I can think of. You know, other kicks take more time, you know, your crescent kick, you know, turning round kick and resetting takes more time than just popping that lead leg out. You know, side kicks still takes more time than just that lead pop. Okay, that's fun. Careful on that knee though. Don't lock your leg out. I about locked out my leg. I could have hurt my knee. Right before I went and threw that knee strike, on my very last kick, I came down. I locked my leg out in a weird way. That put my knee at risk. I didn't hurt it, but you could if you did that. So your knees gotta stay soft, they gotta stay bent. So I got a little ahead of myself the first time and straightened it out before I was ready to. There we go, that's what I wanna do. That's a good cardio burn right there. 3 round kicks, jumping knee strike. It's not gonna be much power on that knee because I'm kind of going straight up. I'm not going into it. But those straight up knees, you're thinking you're coming up trying to catch a jaw if you can. You know, now if I was going into it, I wouldn't throw the knee strike like this. No, if I was going into it, it would be more of a jumping forward, you know, which, let's see if that makes sense off this combo. You kind of can, but you're almost falling into the bag. The jumping forward knee strike in a bag like this makes more sense from a distance. Boom, right? And even then the bag's kind of catching, you see. Boom. And so, now if you have a hanging bag, that bag's not going to catch you the way this one can. You might be able to practice that flying knee more effectively on a hanging bag than on this Wavemaster XXL. Even though I love these, you can put them anywhere, okay? And if you ever want to move them, if you use water for the base, you just empty out the water, move it, refill it. If you use sand for the base, good luck. You ain't getting that sand out of there, and it's way heavier than when it's water. Checking on you guys. How's it going, everybody? I like to come and check on the chat sometimes, okay? Because I like talking to you guys. Feedback's helpful. And since I'm a small channel, I can actually chat with most of you guys because I don't have like 1,000 comments coming through like a big channel might. I like big combos like that too, where you just keep throwing. If I throw without thinking about it, sometimes I just keep going, because that's kind of the way I used to spar, right? The way I would spar is when I started punching and when I started striking, as long as they were close enough to me for me to strike and they haven't countered, I would just keep going. A little sloppy there, I think, but you get the idea. I would keep going until either they moved out of range or if they did a block and counter, I would keep going. Of course, at the time, my cardio was impeccable and it's like I couldn't run out of energy. So I'm talking about like when I was like 18 and in my early 20s too. It was like a endless cardio. I had like an endless stream of energy, it seemed like. I could just keep going. And when I got tired, I used to say that I had an unlimited amount of second wins. Because I wouldn't get to just a second win, I get a third win, fourth win, fifth win. Like every time I got tired, I just had to catch my breath and I was back. So that's why I throw in a few random extra things that aren't that pretty. Like I did that kick, I just threw in a random punch and I was going back, not very pretty. But that's because, like what I was talking about with my sparring, is if I was able to strike them, I would just go for it, even if it wasn't something pretty, right? Boom, I would just throw it out there. Because to me, it does make sense that if you're close enough to them or you can reach them, well, from this range, either they're hitting you or you're hitting them, or you're just standing there staring at each other for some reason, you know? So if you're in striking distance and you're not ready to strike, step out of striking distance, get a little bit away. Of course, even this is striking distance for a kick, right? So you gotta be mindful of that. But you might want to be in kick range anyway, right? Because if you're out of kick range, well now, maybe he can't hit you, but you also can't hit him until you've closed up a bunch of distance and gotten yourself back in somehow. And sometimes you have to fight your way in to get close, okay? So maybe you might just want to be inside of punching range because you have a little bit more time to react to a kick, right? And you might be able to block and counter that kick. He might throw a round kick from this way. You might hollow out and scoop and push his round kick that way. Say if he's coming around with a round kick this way, you can hollow out a little bit and scoop and throw his leg that way, and then you can come in with your own combo. Not to mention, if you're in kicking range, not punching range, you can just dodge the kick like that and then come back in. You can scoot back, and then come back in, scoot back, come back in, counter with your own kick, okay? And don't forget, of course, you're sidestepping and you're round stepping. Maybe he comes through with his left leg lead side kick there, and I'm gonna shoot this way, pop him on the back of the head, you know? Or I'm gonna shoot this way, kick him on the back of the head if you can get it done quick enough. If you're good at hook kicks, I'm not the best at hook kicks, but hook kick, pop this way, hook kick them. My hook kicks aren't very pretty. You'd think they would be with all the years I did Taekwondo, but my hook kicks were never that great. So I'll slip this way, boom, hook kick. I've always had trouble getting a lot of power in my hook kicks, and I can throw a hook kick that looks okay, but it doesn't have any real power, right? My hook kicks don't really have much power, in my personal opinion. That's how they look. That's how my hook kicks work. Look, if any of you guys out there are actually good at hook kicks and can give me tips on how to get power at a hook kick, you let me know. I've tried a few different things. One of the things I've tried that has helped is instead of throwing it like a regular hook kick, almost try to turn it into a side kick at the very end, meaning it makes more sense to me on the back. I try to turn into it like side kick style. Oh, let me use my other foot. I almost have to turn my back to it completely once I do that. I haven't tried that one enough to really do it in the air, I think. something like that. You know, so if anybody has any ideas on how to gain extra power in hook kicks, I'm listening. Of course, the spin hook kick, you know, you're gonna have power in that no matter what you do if you're spinning. So, all right. Once again, if you're new, hit that subscribe button, okay? I'm talking too much. I hope I'm still getting a good workout. But you know, on these lives, I talk a lot because I feel like that's what people want. On the follow along workout videos I do, I don't talk as much, even though I do talk. But I don't talk as much in the follow along workout videos because I'm more focused on the exercise and getting the exercise done. I explain the exercise and then I do it with you in the follow along videos. And so because I'm doing it with you, I have to go intense. I would run out of breath too quick if I talk the entire time. So usually in those, I do most of my talking before and after the exercise. And I don't just walk around and talk like what I'm kind of doing now. All right, here's a fun one. Tornado kick. All right, now with the step first. This one makes it look a little crazier because it's like you're doing a bigger spin, but it's really the same move, but I'm just adding a step. But it makes it look like a bigger spin because you make it flow all the way together. But it looks cool. I slowed down a bit on that one. All right. Ha! Ha! All right, let's try something different. Let's see here. Yep. And yep, there we go. How about some resistance bands? These are pretty cool. So, strap this on. Give me a little bit of resistance while I'm kicking and punching, a little something extra. Yeah. Oh, I should have hooked these on the belt before I put it on. It's all right, I can feel it out. Feels funny with the foot straps because it's pulling this belt way down. All right, there we go. These things are cool. I can't remember exactly what this one was called, but I found it on Amazon. Oh, there we go. Now a little bit of resistance in there. Feels way different. Honestly, even just walking around, you can feel it. This actually adds resistance to just walking, right? Look, because I can feel it walking. I can feel it pulling against my muscles. Now, something I've done before to make it extra for my kicks is I have crossed the bands so that my left foot would, or excuse me, not cross the bands, but has short bands in between my feet. I've done that before to do something extra for my kicks because that gives you more resistance. However, the only issue with that is you have to walk around like this the whole time and you have to be very careful not to step on the band and trip yourself. However, it might be good for some people because some people need to work on their footwork and get used to keeping their feet the same distance apart the whole time. So sometimes having that one band from foot to foot would be better for you than this. But I like this because I like to do step-up kicks. And it's hard to do a step-up kick if you're trying not to step on a band there, right? So, I mean, you can, but when I had a band from foot to foot to do a step-up kick, I had to like step out and do it, which, you know, can be okay, but usually a step-up kick is because you're trying to gain distance because he's too far away. And I'm not going to gain distance on him by doing this way. Not really. See, I just kicked to the tops of my toes. I don't want that. You know, preferably I want to kick with my shin or or at least the very top of my foot, the instep. But the shin's really what they say is the best part to kick with. Even though, you know, I did Taekwondo back in the day. Taekwondo, karate, they don't kick with their shins, they kick with their foot. Now, I don't know, it might have changed since I went, but it used to always be the foot, you know. And people are like, oh, but you can hurt yourself. Well, we never hurt ourselves though, you know. So, but that's also why they had a weird kick too. Real weird. Most of you aren't going to expect this, okay? Where they would literally, because this you could risk breaking your toes if you do it wrong, because literally they'd pull their toes back and kick with the ball of the foot on the bag. That's dangerous. Well, not on the bag, but on, like, you'd break boards doing that. That'd be dangerous doing a fight against somebody that's moving. Because yeah, even if you can pull your toes back like that, if somebody's moving around and you throw that, you might just kick them with the tips of your toes, and that ain't good. So the shin's way better. Or even the instep of the foot, that's okay, you know. Shin's better, foot's okay. If you don't think the foot's okay, go watch a UFC fight, because people get knocked out with foot kicks all the time. You are more likely to hurt your foot, but people still get taken down by it all the time. I wonder, okay, I think the punches are more resistance if I cross them. There we go. They can X on the back. Yes, I can feel that way better. Way more resistance now. My punches even feel slower. I bet you can see that it's slower, can't you? I really only like throwing straight punches when I have the resistance bands on, because it feels a little funky with the hook. I guess I could if I just wound up a lot first. But with this one, of course, you probably should wind up with a hook anyway, but you're telegraphing it when you wind up, you know? But a hook off of a right, you're already wound up a little bit. No, it feels funky trying to throw a hook while I'm holding these handles. I think it's like the ones and twos of this. Hey guys, well, leg kicks for beginners. You kick them in the leg, right? But yeah, you want to throw a kick, and yeah, what the other guy said is right. You can get your hips through to throw your kick. I know two different ways to get your hips through. But the way you're usually going to see, sometimes the easy way is to step out first. Being an old school Taekwondo guy, I'm used to just picking up and pivoting on the fly, because we were taught to try not to telegraph so they don't know what we're throwing. But with a leg kick, you might hit them anyway. And they land all the time in MMA and all that stuff while people step out. So you could step out to get a little bit of a pivot, right? Step out and slam into their thigh, or just above the knee, or up here, or just above the knee. You can do a calf kick. You can kick them in the calf. So, oh yeah, no, it's like I said, I'm used to just kind of pivoting. So I'm not doing that big step. Even if I do a step, I'm usually doing a little small one. And as far as your hip turning over, what's interesting about that, I'm going to take these bands off. Look, what's interesting about that is, I said I know two different ways to get your hip into it. All right, what's interesting about that is I think the way that you usually see people do it is when you start off, you probably get that step in. You might not, but you probably do. You probably get that step in, and then you lead with the hips. And you lead with the hip. And that's good, right? But another way that I've done a lot is I don't do the hips till the very end. Because with that too, you can pick your foot up and change your mind about what kind of kick you're doing, right? So another way to do it is to not do the hips to the very end. Might be a little bit more of an advanced technique though, I'm not sure. Probably is. And to just right before you strike, turn your hips. See, I did that right at the very end. Right at the very end, my hips turned. Could you see it? At the very, very end, right? At the very end, whew, turned over. You see that? So you got that, and then you got the leading with the hips. So you got both of those. I think the reason why a lot of times I do the one where I turn my hips at the end is because of that old school Taekwondo. Just because of the way they did stuff, you know, and they like to pick up and throw multiple kicks before setting their foot down, all that kind of stuff, you know, and so I think that's part of why a lot of times my hip turns at the very end of the kick instead of at the beginning. So, but I don't know, I think some people would argue you're going to get more power if you turn it at the beginning. When I compare the two and I'm going at it, I can't tell a big difference for me, you know, but that could just be because of how many times I've thrown that kind, that maybe I've thrown it so many times that for me, it's just as good as that one where I'm trying to lead with the hips. I don't know, but I know that we spend a lot of time being taught, don't telegraph what you're going to do. In sparring and stuff, we were even taught at one point to try to keep your body as still as possible for as long as you can. So I might be staying almost as still as I can and then popping it out there because I don't want him to see it come. What's the main thing? Like, because a lot of people, they throw like lead leg kick, they'll lean way back and kick, and we're told to try to hide it. Don't lean back until you have to. If you can keep from leaning back, don't lean back. And it's harder for them to see the kick coming because you're not telegraphing as much. So we're told to move as little as possible when we snap that kick out, right? And when most people would be like that, it's easier to kick high when you lean back like that. It is easier to kick high. But they wanted us to practice keeping our body as still as possible when we launch the kick out, just so that they wouldn't see it coming, so that you would actually land the kick, you know? So they did a lot of that kind of stuff where they're trying to teach you not to telegraph so that you could land. And most people still telegraphed anyway, but some of us got a little bit better at it, you know? And then the instructor there, he did a technique that Bill Superfoot Wallace does, where no matter what kick, I can't do it, so forgive this mess up here, but no matter what kick he threw from a side kick chamber. So he would pick up his foot like this, like he was going to side kick, and he might side kick you, he might ground kick you, he might hook kick you, he might start to go for one, see you try to block, and then switch over and kick you on the other side. That kind of stuff used to happen to me all the time when I sparred the main instructor there. He would already be in the middle of throwing his kick. I'd go to block it, and he'd move his foot around, hit me on the other side. And he was quick enough, he could pull it off too. That's hard to pull off. But, you know, Superfoot Bill Wallace does that. So. Let's see here. Yeah, that gear was definitely limiting my motion. It feels a little funny wearing those resistance bands too, you know. I see there's a lot of new people in here. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. So, all right. But yeah, like I said, I can't do that technique I was just demonstrating. What my instructor did, where he would throw everything from a side kick chamber. Him and Superfoot Bill Wallace. Some of you have heard of him. If you guys know anything about old school fighters, you've heard of Bill Wallace. But it's a Bill Wallace technique, but my instructor would do it. And so literally from the side kick, he would strike everything. So whoop, whoop, you know, so from the side kick chamber, you didn't know what was coming. I think he's even hit me with a crescent kick from a side kick chamber and had to pull that off. I guess he would have had to have changed his pivot, right? Well, I'm looking down. If you look down, you lose your balance. So he would have had to have changed his pivot to get me with a crescent kick. So, oh, what time is it? Okay, I got a little bit more time. I think I want to bump up the calorie burn a little bit, okay? So as I told you guys in the beginning who was here, that I did want to burn a lot of calories today if I could help it. I've been doing an awful lot of talking. It's common on these lives for me to do, keep you guys engaged. So I'm going to shut up for a second. I'm going to do burpee, kick, burpee, kick, burpee, kick. I'll do a few of those. get my cardio up. All right, burpees and kicking. Let's go. Too far away. Just burpees. One more. Whew. Give me a second to catch my breath. I believe in active recovery. Trying to catch your breath. You can still throw a few strikes out there. Just do it more nonchalantly if you're trying to catch your breath. Okay, good. I need to do more burpees. I need to do burpees more often. Because that was a little combo was only 10 burpees, 10 kicks, then another 10 burpees. Whew, I should be able to fly through that without getting too out of breath. All right. So you'll probably see me doing a lot more burpees in future videos than what I've been doing. But I will use those burpees for times like that when I say I need to get my heart rate up. Burpee time. I like doing sprawls as a drill also. You ever use sprawls as a drill? Matter of fact, what's good, I really like to do combos in the back and do a sprawl. Like, let's do 1, 2, 5. Let's do 1, 2, 5, 2, 3, sprawl, okay? We can do the hands a couple times so I remember what I'm doing while I'm sprawling, getting tired. So 1, 2, 5, 2. I need to try to make sure when I'm going fast that I turn all the way into it. I've noticed that sometimes with my backhand. When I'm throwing a quick strike, sometimes I do that and I feel like my hips, yeah, they're turned, but they're not turned as far as I want them to. So, all right. I'm gonna go for speed with this drill. 1, 2, 5, 2, sprawl. Let's go. If you don't know what a sprawl is, you just saw it. But what the purpose of a sprawl is if somebody's trying to do a takedown on you. I mean, they're trying to do a double leg takedown, even a single leg. When they're trying to do a takedown on you, you sprawl, right? And if they're coming in on you, when you're doing that, you're throwing your feet out behind you and laying your chest on top of their back while they're trying to take you down. And if you do that, and you all come to the ground and your chest is still on top of their back, all you gotta do from there is put your weight from your chest on top of their back and spin around, then you can get them in that rear naked choke. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this drill. Yeah, so if you're doing it on a person, your hands wouldn't hit the ground first. Your feet would shoot out and your hands would hit their back as they're coming in on you. Do some squats. Get deep. Any of you guys ever try one of the follow along workouts on this channel? If you haven't, I encourage you to do so. That's where I'm wanting the bread and butter of this channel to come from. I try to do my live workouts and I try to do the follow along workouts in an energetic, fast paced way so that you don't get bored while you're working out. Whew. It's hard to catch your breath when you're talking too much. But yeah, I would like it if some of you would try the follow along workouts in my video section when we're done here. So there's stuff in there for every fitness level. And the majority of the workouts in there, you know, it's one of those things where you can adjust it to your own fitness level because you do the moves, but do it at your own pace, your own speed, whether that's faster than me or slower than me. You do it at your pace, your speed, your power, turn it into your workout, okay? And I believe that because of that, a lot of the workouts I have on there, I think they're world-class workouts. I think they're great, you know? I think they're great. If you just do the drills and do the exercises, I think it's a good workout for anybody. Even like if you're somebody who's fitter than me, like I said, you just go faster. That's it. That's it. You just speed it up, you know? I think most people are probably going to be a little slower, but there's going to be some that's faster for sure. So most definitely. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's kind of like I was when I was 20 years old. Nothing was fast enough. Well, so do me a favor and do hit the subscribe button, okay? All you new folks, hit subscribe. Thank you, Luke Cage. Thank you, everybody. I'm about to cut it short. I got some things to do today. I've been going for about 44 minutes. So a lot of talking in there, right? So I would probably get a much better calorie burn in my follow along workout videos than in this. Because of those, I don't take so many breaks to talk. On this, I've taken a bunch of breaks to talk and I burned over 500 calories, right around 520. And I've been stopping way too much to talk, okay? So if I had done this the whole way through with all those breaks to talk, I would probably be at about 800 calories right now. So, matter of fact, I'm thinking my next pre-recorded workout video for a follow-along workout video, I think I'll do the same thing today. Instead of putting my gloves on, because they mess with my fitness watch, they'll turn it off. They'll turn off my workout on it. I'm just gonna wrap my hands and do it that way. So I keep my fitness watch on because I wanna track and I wanna see how many calories do I burn doing one of my pre-recorded follow-along workouts. Also, if you guys are interested, something that I've been thinking about doing, let me know if you're interested in seeing this. I've been thinking about coming here and doing a live workout where what I'm doing in the live workout is I have my pre-recorded workouts on the TV and I'm in here following along to myself just so I can track it with my fitness watch and see how many calories each one burns. If you guys are interested in seeing that, let me know. And I'll come and do that and I'll track it and I'll see how many calories do I burn doing my own workout. So yeah, this is that I burn 530 calories with this. So I think that's gonna work. I'm gonna twist, well, let me see if anybody's if I need to respond to anybody real quick. All right. All right. I'm going to do like the shortest little cool down ever because I do got some things I got to get doing. But I like doing this twist here because it releases the lower back. It's really good for you, especially if you're starting to get older and you might be getting a higher risk for back problems. You want to make sure your back is loose and good to go. Matter of fact, every now and then, when I wake up in the morning or maybe I've been sitting down too long, I might get up and at first my back's a little tight and maybe you don't even want to straighten all the way. Well, I'll tell you what, I can actually from there, I can just start twisting and on its own, it loosens it up completely. For me it does. You can try it for you and see if it works for you. Another good one that's good for your back, good for everything all the way down your side. There's this little side stretch. There's a famous workout that you can buy where they do this stretch an awful lot. It's where I actually learned it from, but I really like the stretch. You hip goes out towards the side, the arms up, and you look up at the eye of the elbow, and it stretches everything all the way down that side. And I've noticed that this, even if your back is tight, it helps loosen up your back too. It just loosens up everything. So I like to do that on both sides. It's one of my favorite stretches. So if I'm not feeling the stretch, I reach up more with my hand. I reach out, stretch my hand out. Okay. I'm gonna reach down, make sure I stretch my hamstrings a little bit. Also, stretches your lower back. Anytime you reach down and over, you're stretching your lower back. All right. All right, that'll do, guys. Keep kicking it. Come back and see me, all right?